This is Pastor Tim coming to you from Ben and Lomita United Methodist Churches in Central Texas, where we think it's very important to study the Bible. We recommend that you do so in a group so you can share the experience and share your understanding, because we always do better in a group. But to get you a foundation so you can begin to read the Bible, we talk about the scriptures, and especially those that we use in worship. This scripture we're going to be using is about the calling of the disciples. That's a very interesting impulse of Jesus, because he knew that he wasn't going to be around forever. He knew that there would be a limited time in which he would be able to be there to teach and share with others, to try to develop community. And so he knew there was going to have to be leaders that took his place. And to take his place, they had to be learned. They had to learn more about his faith. They had to be able to love like he told them to love. They had to be able to lead. And so he taught them during that time. And he picked all kinds of odds and ends. Peter, who's we consider the first pope, he's pretty brash. He spoke out a lot of times before he did any thinking about it. And at the crucifixion, he had denied Christ, so he was not always the best character. Judas would be the betrayer, and yet they entrusted him with the treasury. He had a chance, I think, to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. And then the other disciples had their own problems too. They sometimes doubted, they sometimes didn't get it right. Jesus had to explain it. They must aside and explain it. But he picked those. He picked the people that is God's tradition to pick the people least likely. I think that's why he chose the Hebrew people, because they were the most incompetent, the most that needed the most help. They were in trouble. They were enslaved. They were the 12 tribes were started by 12 brothers who enslaved one of their brothers and sold them into slavery. And you'll see that there's always questionable characters, but God picks those because it's the least likely. Abraham and Sarah were elderly and not likely to have any children. They were the least likely, so that's who God chose. That's why I think that God chooses the church, because we're the least likely to be able to carry out the ministry that Jesus had assigned to us. And because it's the least likely, those are the very ones that people say, well, God must have done it, because I know that y'all can't. And that's exactly what we depend upon. So when he calls disciples, he said, I want somebody to come after me that's going to be empowered and be able to spread the gospel. He said, you're going to do greater things than me. And what I think he meant by that was not greater miracles, but in a wide variety of ways that scatter across the world. God makes the gospel available to people in the language that they will understand, either their natural language of their region, or their personality language, or their cultural language, their stratus in society. God makes that available because he calls all kinds of people for all kinds of reasons. And he provides somebody to speak the word of love, the word of hope, just as they need it. So I hope you think that you're a disciple, that God is calling you into this ministry of Jesus to make the world more like God's kingdom. I hope to see you next time.